So let us gather our energies together and pay respect to the triple jewels. And after, we'll chant the Buddha's words on loving kindness. Yeah. Yoso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho Swakato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipano Yasa Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Tamayam Bhagavantam Sadhamam Sasangham Imehi Sakare Narataraham Arupitehi Api Pujayama Sadhu no Bante Bhagava Sutiraparini Bhutopi Patima Janatanukam Pamanasa Itme Sakare Dugatapana Karavote Patigan Atu Amakangi Karatang Itaya Sukaya Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sangham Namami Anvayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Upagana Karang Karoma Sehe Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa. Now let us chant the Buddha's words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, freed from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Yeah, so here we all are again, wherever here is. Yeah. And that sense that each of us is sitting in the place where the past and the present, past and the future meet, the kind of present moment. Yeah. And in this place, we have the results of everything that's come before. Yeah. And then in terms of the next moment, we have the response to that. Yeah. So when I think of myself here, where in a way all time sits, there's that sense of, well, what gestures, what mudra do these different senses need, that sense of the past, whether, whatever it means for you, and it seems to me the gesture that is most helpful to cultivate, or two gestures. One is of thankfulness and the other is of forgiveness. Yeah. So when I sit here and I think of everything that's brought me to this moment. Yeah. Much of it really beautiful, some of it difficult, yeah. In a way, we can be thankful for all of it. But in that movement, there are things that need this gesture of forgiveness, don't they? Of understanding. And it's that sense, and I think really we're talking about how we hold ourselves, aren't we? That there are things we regret, there are things we wish hadn't happened, and that we really see those as things to be understood with compassion. Yeah. Certainly when I look back, and there are some things, I'd give anything to be able to change. Yeah. Just some of the follies of youth, you could say, in some cases. And you just think, wow, if only I'd been there knowing this. So can I have kindness for that young being doing the best they could, yeah? And there are all kinds of things that happen in a lifetime, aren't there? And here we are. Here we are, uprighting ourselves in Dhamma. And some things you think, well, that was a really unfortunate thing for someone to have done. Even down for me to the way we were treated at school as women, and the sense of what we could or couldn't do. The aspirations that were just kind of crushed. But if I'd actually followed what at that point my passion was, would I have actually had the what it took to put everything down, give everything away, and practice the holy life? You think maybe it was fortunate, this man who wanted to crush all aspiration, for this being. I'm not saying for all, and I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but can look back and think, hey, maybe in the flow of this life, there's been some kind of crazy logic going on. Only to the extent that it means that right now I'm here. And how do we meet the past? How do we meet really difficult things? And as some of you know, we've had some, well, whole planet, but New Zealand had some really savage things happen in the last couple of years. And what's been most stunning about them is that some people, even when really dreadful things have happened, have maintained hearts of love. And it just changes everything. And it's not that they're saying bad things shouldn't happen or should happen, but that they don't come out of empathy. And it's about this gesture moving forward, doesn't it? That if we let ourselves come into contraction, then we're not capable of the love that's needed in the next moment to meet everything. Yeah. What's it like when somebody suffered tremendous wrong and they stand there and they express love? Yeah. It kind of uprights everything, doesn't it? It comes out of some conflict to it's so clear what is right and true and should be happening. It's a kind of mysterious power. And it's the sense, I guess, that the Buddha had, that hatred never ceases by hatred, only by love. This is the eternal law. And to trust that, and to trust it really in relation to ourselves, that The medicine is love and understanding. To really, you hear some wild things, don't we, in our lives. And last week there was a whole thing playing out here where the government has approved a whole lot of funding to go to one of the gangs here, Mongrel Mob, which is local to around here. And the funding is for a drug rehabilitation program that they want to run. You know, and you can hear one side of things saying, you're giving money to crooks and gangsters, yeah, to run drug rehab programs. And the Prime Minister came back and said, no, essentially some of these people are leaders in the communities they're in. They're committed to supporting youth to come out of drugs. And anyway, it's the very people who are having trouble with drugs that we want to support. You know, well, that's kind of radical. Where the voices on one side are just this kind of condemnation. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying it's the answer, but it's can we look at things in different ways and say, well, how do we stay in empathetic connection with things? So we do that by keeping a sense of forgiveness here. And by, you know, and that has to have a lot of understanding in it, doesn't it? Understanding kamma, cause and effect, conditionality of things. And to have that sense of thankfulness for what has been given. So we're not coming out of a place of poverty or lack. And then the movement out is a movement out rather than kind of suck things in. We go, well, what do I offer? How do I bless? Yeah. So here we've been in this time of inwardness and togetherness. Well, what's the next movement out of here? Yeah. What do I want to take forth into the next moment with this one wild and precious life? What do I want to do? Yeah. When I sit here, you know, for me on this beautiful afternoon, you in your evenings or mornings, or you know, here we are, and what are we going to do as an expression of this teaching? How do we stay true to what is most important? So to me, it's an ongoing inquiry, isn't it? You know, it's once again like, where's the middle? It's a reflective process. What is needed? But to know what is needed, we have to know what is here. And we have to have the capacity and willingness to know, hey, it's like this. Yeah. To meet what is arising, you know, the results of what has gone before. And then the sense of the mudra we meet the world with. Yeah, so to me, one of the aspects of this is the Buddha talked about the sense of, you know, when he saw an old person, the conceit of youth left him. When he saw a sick person, the conceit of health left him. When he saw a dead person, the conceit of life left him. What's he meaning? And we can live from a place where we just presume there's endless time, endless health, endless everything. We've in a way grasped the sense of the body as us and a kind of immortality of that. And it's, you know, it can be shocking just how strongly we have identified with the body. as a kind of permanent thing. And how much we've done that, this conceiving, this holding, the sense of me, and associated with these things, means we're cut off from the preciousness and fragility of life. And then when these things change, we think something's gone wrong. These bodies of ours age, suffer illness, So we're both in conflict with life, with the stream of life, the very nature of life, but we have lost the sense of urgency and preciousness. So I don't know about you, but I sometimes sit and I think, now if I only had a day, what would be most important? And am I living in a way that stays true to that? I only had an hour. This was my last breath. So these recollections can help us stay really upright in the chitta, upright in what is most important, so that we actually move from that place. Move forth from a place of love, connection, blessing. If this is the last afternoon, that this being is here, or you are there, what would you like your chitta centered in? So it's these recollections, as we start to transition from being more inward to being more engaged. When you can probably, over the last afternoon of practice, just felt that kind of, there can be a kind of rising energy, kind of movement into doing. And you get a lot of insight, as I was saying earlier, from this time, because you can get the sense of how you get caught, how you get trapped. And so what if we just steady that energy and really feel what's beneath it, behind it, around it. And just check that it really is aligning with what is most precious to us. So we don't just jump back into habits in our relationship with the world. In a way, it's about pausing and letting things come, isn't it? Staying here, chitta upright, receiving, and staying attuned, staying connected. Because this is where the strength and the possibility is. And then here, with what do I want to touch the world? What recollection do I want to keep with me? And each of us will have a different one. And I know for me, I just really find staying with this quality of anicca, the kind of ephemeral, changing, conditioned nature of all conditioned things, allows love to be there. It sounds so dry, uncertainty, impermanence. Yeah. But actually, as we live it, it frees us up, doesn't it? To stay centered in love. Compassionate. So, in the teachings, there is this tremendous encouragement to do this work of really understanding the heart and getting the capacity along with the willingness to actually meet the world in ways that bring well-being, that bring blessing. And to me, that sense of really being diligent in that, having this real commitment to, as I've said many times, we put down what is unhelpful, stressful, not for our well-being, not for others' well-being, and we pick up what is helpful and maintain it in being. This is our training, our acts of love. And it's a process, as Sariputta said, in that sutta I talked about again and again. And once again, in this quality of again and again, love is there. There's no giving up on it. If it takes me billions of years, we don't give up on freeing the heart. So, and there are these beautiful exhortations within the suttas, irrigators channel water, arrowsmiths shape arrows, carpenters shape wood, the wise, they train themselves. Train's a funny word, but they get so they're really aligned with what they love. So we've said a lot, over these last days, so maybe that's enough. So thank you.
Sadhu, 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 anumodami.
So let us come into a time of sitting together. And about half an hour, we'll start shifting the shape of the retreat. So here we are gathered for this really closing kind of leave taking of this retreat. And I'd like to just say a few things, hand over to Ajahn Sucitto, who will do a sharing of blessings, and then hand over to Christine and yourselves. So really from my part, Ajahn Sucitto emailed me and said, would you like to be part of doing a retreat? We were, Elizabeth and I were due to be in America at this time. He was due to be in America. And since I'm here at start of the day or tomorrow for him, and he's at the other end, we thought, he thought, well, we could come together and for the American communities, we could offer something that really worked. And I live here in this little Pacific continent that looks like islands that hardly appears on maps, most maps, but we've been so fortunate and protected over the last couple of years in terms of COVID. We've stayed with retreats here, people coming, practicing together. And I was just so aware of so many of you others that have had to practice alone. And all the work people like Ajahn Sucitto and others have been doing just to encourage and keep the sense of the Dhamma cultivation happening, to keep good heart over this difficult time. So it certainly felt like a thing I wanted to bring my energy to. And Ajahn Sucitto is an old friend, so to be able to keep good company. So it's been very lovely to have this opportunity. And you see Ajahn Sucitto and me, we seem to be the front of the thing, but behind us, there's all this goodness. It means we're actually present to you. There's the little core team that got together and so quickly started to make things possible. And so there's Dina, Diana, Jyotika, Carol, these beings we owe tremendous gratitude to. And then the others in the support team, Christine, George, Paula, Vita, Mike, who's looking after recording. There's all this support happening. So I feel very fortunate, really, and they have been really wonderful. Really timely and on the ball, and right to the point where I disappeared for a moment before and someone had come calling at the door and they brought these beautiful flowers. And the retreat team had sent these. So these beautiful, timely gestures of support have really been the mark of being with them. So my thanks to them. And my appreciation for yourselves. It's been really powerful to feel the field of practice, to be connected in, with that sense of people's presence and energy and attuning, and be gathering across the world. So thank you. We speak without even being able to really see your faces. So if anything I've said, has it been helpful? And please just let it go. And maybe we'll never meet up face to face. Who knows when my country will come out of having its borders closed. There's no talk of it happening this year for a start, maybe not next year. But if the Kiwi borders open up, maybe I'll see some of you in the States in October. Others of you I have contact with groups online. And if ever you're here, you're very welcome at this place dedicated to practice that Elizabeth and I have offered here. So please keep well and stay upright in this beautiful practice, this teaching we've been given. And I wish you really well. Thank you.
Willa, Well, again, one of the delights of teaching with Willa is you just basically repeat what she said. It's pretty easy. And don't have to think of much new to reiterate, but perhaps just to say it in my own words, my own tones. Yeah, of course, all of that, and just particularly, well, it's wonderful just having a co-teacher and someone who's so absolutely easy to share with and get on with. No friction, no competition, no, just easy and so resonant. You know, I mean, that's why it was a great opportunity in a way. One turns the difficulties of life into blessings, because there's not many people who I immediately get such a resonance with as Willa. So that's just such a wonderful occasion, really, that somehow out of this horror has come something quite precious and beautiful. And yes, you know, as Willa mentioned, this thing arose really because there was a whole lot of teaching engagements that I'd committed to, and she'd also committed to some things. So, you know, people are out there, and really a very dire situation. So, you know, well, okay, I can't get there. So what can we do? And this online retreat thing had become, because of Beta in Singapore, who's also part of the extended network, had kind of gently invited me to online teaching, which I never thought I'd do. So once you get in that kind of request, well, okay. So I got into that, and then can I do it for the people in the States? And sent around, and Carol just said, I'll do it. Is that lovely? You know, I didn't quite know, but just only details, I don't know how, but I'll do it. And so they said, and then she just started, you know, inviting friends and people, and they said it's like flying a plane while you're building it at the same time. You know, just kind of getting together and figuring out, and the thing they say they really enjoyed it, just that sense of working together around this thing. So I'm very pleased with that, and because I was really quite blown away with the care and the detail of care that they conjured up, and you know, all these kind of amazing pieces and pieces that I could, you know, I never really haven't got a clue about really. And so Anumodana, you know, what does one say? This simple word. I hope the gratitude in my heart somehow is able to be felt in yours, friends, and give you some warmth and companionship. And of course, for everyone who participates in these occasions, you know, there's things we have to put aside, and you know, and I'm sure that, you know, we get lots of comments on gratitude because I'm the face, you know, I'm the one who appears, and many of the people who make this happen don't appear, barely appear. So really, as I've mentioned on the little yogi sheet, you know, often people want to make offerings, and clearly the monasteries and Willa's Centre do. Yeah, they need that support. But personally, my needs are taken care of, and if anyone feels they want to take a personal gesture to myself, I'd really be happy if that could be just passed on to these friends in the background who help make it all work. That's not what they're there for, but it's like, this is where you know, you've sent flowers to me and Willa, so, you know, the normal way in which one makes a material offering, pass that on. Also, as is customary, and absolutely deeply felt. It's in, we all have our sensitive places, our sensitive points, and I find it, I can't imagine how I can't have somehow or another touched into somebody's sensitive place with a slightly casual word or a gruff remark or a slightly barbed comment or another. So I do ask forgiveness for my lack of awareness in these issues for all of you, and particularly for the retreat team. I know I have been lacking in awareness and blundering, and so I do really apologize for any hurt that's been caused, and I know, you know, that's just the asking for forgiveness for my lack of awareness and blundering. So this is opportunities in the human realm to experience, letting go, gratitude, compassion, gladness, equanimity. It's the occasion. So for all of you, I hope can you remain when the screen goes quiet. Please remain in the Dhamma room.
Ante, shall we gather all this goodness and cultivation, and we'll chant the sharing of blessings. So each of us maybe have particular people, particular communities of beings we would really like to bear in mind at this time. So to share the goodness of your lives, and our cultivation. Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless.
Through
Goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nirvana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my
excellent refuge.
Path is a protection of the Dhamma. The solitary
Buddha
my
is my
noble
noble
guide.
the
The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled.
We pay our respects to the Triple Gem. Perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the blessed one. The teaching so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.